the Rooney Rule is there, but it's garbage. This is a league comprised of 70% black men.
Will this cycle be a fair one? 10 slots open this year. There has to be some minorities getting picked up for these jobs.
Brian Flores certainly deserves a second chance to be a head coach. There's a lot of former black players who are now assistant coaches. I'm pretty sure they're overqualified to be a head coach.
One got the numbers, one let the game on. Two different voices, never the same. Mic on fire when the truth collides. It ain't just one story, must be two sides.
To sit here and go against the grain and what James Harrison is talking about, though, Brian Flores was a guy who worked under Mike Tomlin for 1 year in Pittsburgh, came over here to Minnesota to be the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, had a lot of success these last 3 years here with this team and this defense. And now he is scheduled to conduct a head coaching interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So full circle moment right there as we're recording this podcast. Now, I've been on the record saying that I find it hard to believe he'll land a head coaching job just because of how the owners collude and stuff like that. But we'll dive into that a little bit later. But Brian Flores, certainly one of those guys that deserves a second chance to be a head coach. Had his first tenure in Miami, didn't go so well. Has some reports coming out from his former quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, about how basically he wasn't a great head coach and all those things. But as we just talked about, there could be two sides to every story in those things. When I speak to Brian Flores, he's a great individual, first-class human being, treats everybody with respect, all the media, he treats us all the same. He's a good dude, just from the conversations I've had with him, the one-on-ones where, I didn't have a microphone in his face. So I have a differing opinion from Tagovailoa, but that's just how the world works in two sides. So kind of hopeful that Brian Flores gets another opportunity, but actively suing the league for racial discrimination. So we'll kind of see how all that unfolds.
Hey, we could get into it right now, man. Brian Flores, man, a story about him in 2021. I was in the Tennessee Titans, and we were playing against the Miami Dolphins, and I was blocking for a run play, and the whole power fell on my ankle, and I broke my ankle. My foot was pointed the entirely different way. Brian Flores, the opposing team head coach, was the first one out there to check on me and make sure I was good. I didn't notice until afterwards because I was in shock from the injury, but that always stuck with me and went a long way, man. And Brian Flores is extremely deserving of another head coaching opportunity. And this year being the case that we have 10 openings for head coaching jobs, I don't think there's 10 people better suited or better qualified than Brian Flores to be a head coach this year in the NFL.
I agree. I think he's certainly capable. He's smart. He has all the intangibles to be a good head coach. He's a player's coach, from what I understand. Just speaking with people on his staff and people that have worked with him, they always talk about how he's like a work kind of guy. Like, you get there, we're working. Like, we're not playing around, but we're also very personable. And then I want you to go home, go see your family. Like, I don't want you to be there all night long, grinding away, doing stuff. Like, we all got days in a week doing that, but certain times, like, there's time for you to get away and go be a family man once work is completed. And I've heard nothing but great things about Brian Flores, despite what some reports have been saying and circulating here in Minnesota. He's been a first-class guy here. So we'll see how it all unfolds. Why he's interviewing for other defensive coordinator jobs and why he's not just re-signing with the Minnesota Vikings. But he's testing the waters, seeing what the market is like, and I think he should do that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, and that goes to speak on a larger topic as far as will this cycle be a fair one? Will the Rooney Rule actually be put into place this time around? Because it's never been used to the extent that it's supposed to been used before. It's been
the Rooney Rule is there, but it's garbage. We all know it. The fact that
that's what I'm saying.
Put in a Rooney Rule to sit here and say you have to interview a minority coach says a lot about your organization and how you're running things. Like, instead of just saying like, oh, this is a league comprised of 70% black men, and there's a lot of former black players who are now assistant coaches. I'm pretty sure they're overqualified to be a head coach because they can relate to these players. Instead, it's like, no, we're gonna go get a disciple from one of these coaching trees over here that never played at that level, or wasn't as good as some of these guys who are now coaching and things like that. So, but that's just how the cookie crumbles in the National Football League. And that's just how it is. It ain't nothing you can say about it. You know how those owners are. It's
Hey, look, man, I'm gonna say something about it until it changes. There has to be some fairness to this thing. There's guys that's qualified for these jobs, and if you want to just keep recycling guys and guaranteeing millions and millions of dollars and just firing them in 2 years to get the same production that you got from the last guy, I don't think that's a good business model. Give somebody new, give somebody fresh a shot, whether they're a minority or not. The best man, the best qualified man deserve the job. And it's this whole, who do you know, these relationships, this fraternity that has been created in the league, it's not what's best for the league. It's not conducive to what's going on. It's not conducive to how the world is changing these days. Get with the times, man.
It's also on the head coaches that's getting hired and who they hire to be their defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators, because that's typically the pathway to become a head coach. You don't go from being a wide receivers coach to a head coach, or a defensive line coach to a head coach. You typically have to become a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, and then you can see that opportunity or that pathway to go blaze a trail and become a new head coach. So, you know, while we can blame owners and who they hire and things like that, we can also blame the head coaches and who they hire as well on their staff to be in prominent, you know, game-changing decision-making roles. And you gotta create change. I know there's a lot of capable black men out there that play the game and that can coach at a high level to be an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. So hopefully we'll see that, you know, as we continue to evolve in this world, but got a little ways to go. I'm sure got a little ways to go. Hold on. Before we get to that, breaking news too, right now, that the Titans are working to finalize a deal with Robert Saleh. So this is a minority coach that we were just talking about that got fired, went to the New York Jets, didn't have a really good opportunity and whatnot there, didn't have a fair shake. Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, all that stuff like that. He got fired. Things went downhill for the New York Jets real fast. He goes to San Francisco, turns that defense around, helps them get to the playoffs. Now I'm about to go possibly to Mike Cole's former stomping grounds, the Tennessee Titans. Thoughts on that situation real fast before we move on?
No, I think that's a great move for the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, what he did with the 49ers this year, with all the injuries and all the adversity that they had to work through, was, you know, you can't say enough about that. So he definitely earned another opportunity. I didn't think with the Jets, who's going to be successful with that organization? It's tough sledding over there. So for him to get another chance, I believe that he earned that. And like I said, man, it's 10 slots open this year. There has to be some minorities getting picked up for these jobs, and you know, this is the first domino to fall in that case.
Who knows? Maybe more. Thanks for watching that video. If you want more Must Be Two Sides content, be sure to click the links below and follow our journey.
Stand for the truth, otherwise take a knee. Made it to the league, now we gotta take the lead. Touchdown, Sports Now, I'm Must Be Two Sides.